ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतेरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सागणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सागणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। Okay. Okay. Chapter 10, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwaraka. Chapter 17. Sitatapatram Jagraha Mukunda Muktadama Vibhushitam Ratnadandam Gudakeshaha Priyatamasyaha Priyatamasyaha. At the time, Arjuna, the great warrior and conqueror of sleep, Gudakesha, who is the intimate friend of the most beloved Supreme Lord, took up an umbrella which had a handle of jewels and was embroidered with lace and pearls. So this is Lord is proceeding and how different of his devotees are engaging in different types of services is explained. Everything offered to the Lord must be first class. Prabhupada used to say, so first class. And we should offer the best to the Lord. We offer ourselves the best always. So we should stop that and start offering the best to the Lord. And Prabhupada here is saying that all these all jewels and pearls and stones, they were used in luxurious royal ceremonies, and this is all produced in hills, oceans, etc. Nature's gifts. So no use of all these industrial enterprises. And because of this development of industrial enterprises, they are now using pots and gataparcha instead of metals, like gold, silver, brass, copper. So even this one, there's no steel here. Gold, silver, brass, copper, steel, etc. They're using margarine instead of purified butter. And 1/4 of the city population has no shelter. So-called material development. उद्धवस्नात्य किश्चैव व्यजने परमाद्भुते विकीर्यमाणः कुसुमैरेजे मधुपतिपति. Uddhava and Satyaki began to fan the Lord with decorated fans, and the Lord, as the master of Madhu, seated on scattered flowers, commanded them along the road. Ashruyantashisha satyastatra tatra dvijeritaha nanurupascha nirgunasya gunatmanaha. It was being heard here and there that the benedictions being paid to Krishna were neither befitting nor unbefitting. because they were all for the Absolute, who was now playing the part of a human being. So they were befitting. Um, so some were describing his supreme position, some were describing his position as a king. So some of them are befitting, some of them aren't befitting. The Prabhupada says Thou is Nirguna. It doesn't have any material qualities. All his qualities are transcendental. So if somebody glorifies his material qualities, then it is unbefitting. Or if his qualities are seen by them as material, they're not really material qualities. So Prabhupada says here, Lord Krishna is sometimes described as a thief. He's very famous amongst these pure devotees as Makhan Chor. He used to steal butter from the houses of neighbors of Vrindavan in his early age. Since he's famous as a thief, but in spite of being famous as a thief, he's worshipped as a thief. Whereas in the mundane world, thief is punished and is never praised. Since he's the absolute person of Godhead, everything applicable to him, everything is applicable to him, and still, in spite of all contradictions, he is the supreme person of Godhead. So sound of benedictions uttered by learned Brahmanas here and there appear to contradictory in relation with the absolute person. But when they are applied to the absolute person, they lose all contradiction and become transcendental. So, so if you look at because everything originates from Krishna. So when there is some glorification of the Lord and glorifying his qualities that he demonstrated in this material world, since they're all his qualities are transcendental, so it anyway loses all contradiction and it becomes transcendental. Then the point is that Krishna is above all material glorification. So anything that one says about Krishna is in Krishna's glorification ends up being transcendental because there's nothing material about him. Because even this material creation is coming from him, it's actually spiritual. But it is spiritual because the external energy is coming from Krishna. So it is spiritual, but it is used for a particular purpose. So अन्योन्यमासीत् सञ्जल्पा उत्तमश्लोकचेतसां कौरवेन्द्रपुरस्त्रीणां सर्वश्रुतिमनोहरः. Absorbed in the thought of the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is sung in select poetry, the ladies on the roofs of all the houses of Hastinapura began to talk to him. This talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas. Yeah, so here Prabhupada is saying that first thing is the ladies were on top. They were not in the middle of the procession, mingling with other men, etc. So there is clear separation, and that is prestigious for women not to mix with other men. So they were standing on top of the roofs of their houses and talking about him. And that talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas. So here Prabhupada is saying their songs of Thakur and Narottama Das, one of the acharyas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, composed in simple Bengali language. But Thakur Vishwanatha Chakravarti, another very learned acharya of the same Sampradaya, has approved the songs by Thakur Narottama Das to be as good as Vedic mantras. So language is immaterial. Subject matter is important. And ladies who are all absorbed in the thought and actions of the Lord develop the consciousness of basic wisdom by the grace of the Lord. And therefore, such ladies might not have been very learned scholars in Sanskrit otherwise. Still, whatever they spoke was more attractive than Vedic hymns. The Vedic hymns in the Upanishads are sometimes indirectly directed to the Supreme Lord. But the talks of the ladies were directly spoken, and thus they were more pleasing to the heart. The ladies' talks appear to be more valuable than the learned Brahmanas' benedictions. So it's not important that one be a Pandita. Of course, if somebody can be that way and also be a pure devotee, then it's good. But for becoming a pure devotee, for loving Krishna, it's not required that one be a Pandita, scholar. So these women, they're simple. They're not like big scholars or brahmanas or anything, but because um, they were all absorbed. So that is the important thing. Right? They were all absorbed in the thought and actions of the Lord. So they developed consciousness of Vedic wisdom. Tadami buddhi yogam tam. Now Krishna reveals the jnana from within. So the important thing is to be absorbed in thought and actions of the Lord. We've discussed this already before. We can be absorbed in the thought and actions of the Lord only when we stop being absorbed in thoughts and actions of ourselves, thought and actions of this material world. So only when we stop that absorption can this absorption start. So we have to transfer this absorption from material things to Krishna. That is the quality of love for Krishna, and then such devotees, whatever they say, will be greatly relished by the Lord more than Vedic hymns. And Prabhupada is also saying anyway, Vedic hymns sometimes also indirectly and talk about Brahman and all these things. No, but these were directly addressed to the Lord, to Lord Krishna directly. And so it was more attractive to the Lord also, not just to others. It is more attractive. Of course, to anybody who hears Krishna's glorifications, it's always attractive because Krishna is all attractive. Savai kilayam purusha puratano ya eka asita vishesha atmani agre gunebhyo jagadatman ishvare nimilitatman nishisupta shaktishu. They said here he is the original personality of Godhead as we definitely remember him. He alone existed before the manifested creation of the modes of nature, and in him only, because he is the Supreme Lord, all living beings merge as if sleeping at night, their energy suspended. So this is very interesting that they were not, it was told that they were simple women, they were not scholars. But now they are talking like scholars and they are talking like they know Vedic, they have Vedic wisdom. And so they're talking about creation and destruction. How at creation he alone existed before creation, and at the time of destruction all living beings merge into him. So this is the whole process of creation, which we will discuss starting from in canto. Prabhupada has written a long purport which is mainly discussing this whole concept of creation. We can take it up when we come to the second canto. But generally, all of you have an understanding of how Karanodakashai Vishnu, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, Kshirodakashai Vishnu, then there is Karana Jala, then how Lord glances over Maya, and then this whole material world is created one after the other from the gross elements, Panchamahabhuta, various. The Panchamahabhuta itself is formed first, starting from ether. So all this creation happens, and then when there's destruction, both partial daily destruction and at the end of the life of Brahma, all the jivas, their action suspended, their energy suspended. They merge into the body of the Lord Mahavishnu, but it's not that they merge in terms of they lose their identity. They remain there, and again, when next creation is happening, they again resume their work. All these things are there, so we'll discuss it later. स एव भूयो निजवीर्यचोदितां स्वजीवमायां प्रकृतिं सिसृक्षतीम् अनामरूपात्मनि रूपनामनि विदित्समानोऽनु ससार शास्त्रकृत्. The personality of Godhead, again desiring to give names and forms to his parts and parcels, the living entities, place them under the guidance of material nature. By his own potency, material nature is empowered to recreate. So this is again how the jivas get their bodies. So once they merge into the body of Vishnu, then again in the time of creation, the Lord gives these jivas like Garbhadhana, like he's giving the seeds, gives it to Mother Nature, material nature, then produces their bodies. And then again, life continues. Prabhupada here talks about Nitya Mukta, Nitya Baddha. Nitya Mukta, eternally liberated, Nitya Baddha is eternally conditioned, and they keep coming back to this material world again and again. Yeah. Yeah, so generally he's talking about creation, why we came here, all this. Okay. Savayam yat padamatra surayo jitendriya nirjitah matarishvanah pashyanti bhakti utkalitamalatmana nanvesha sattvam parimarshtum arhati. Here is the same Supreme Person of Godhead whose transcendental form is experienced by the great devotees who are completely cleansed of material consciousness by dint of rigid devotional service and full control of life and senses. And that is the only way to purify existence. So here it is said that great devotees experience the transcendental form of Krishna. How do great devotees experience the transcendental form of Krishna? In what way? What way do they experience Krishna?
Holy name.
Holy name, okay. What else?
By purifying their senses, by purifying them.
Yeah, purifying the senses, but how, in what form do they experience great devotees? Here it is said same person whose transcendental form is experienced.
In the form of his name and pastimes, but they,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Is it Shyam Sundara form? The two-handed forms of Lord?
Yeah. I mean, see, Supreme Personality of Godhead, they're not specifically talking about Krishna, but yeah, so the great devotees, they experience Krishna every moment of their life. They're never separated. Of course, then there are pastimes of separation, etc. But by the process of bhakti, when one achieves the pure state, pure devotional service, then literally the Lord reveals himself to the devotee. He's seen by the devotee through his eyes, he's experienced through touch, he's experienced through smell, he's experienced through sound. So devotees hear the flute, devotees smell the fragrance from the body of the Lord, devotees see the beautiful form of the Lord, devotees feel the touch of Krishna's transcendental body. The devotees, pure devotees at that stage, actually experience the transcendental form in all its aspects. But what is the qualification to experience that? They're completely cleansed of material consciousness. So we have to cleanse ourselves from material consciousness. And it's a pretty challenging task, right? If you just maybe, of course, our chanting, we are experiencing all kinds of thoughts that come into our mind. How much it's full of material consciousness. Very rarely do actually spiritual thoughts or thoughts about bhakti come into our head, when we are chanting, isn't it? What all thoughts do we get during chanting? And they're mostly materially oriented, material consciousness, material subjects. What kind of thoughts do we get when chanting?
About our normal mundane tasks, Prabhu.
normal
Work.
mundane tasks, work. Yeah, so whatever is very dear to us in this material world, right? And what is dear to us at this point of time, mostly it is our material stuff that is dear to us. And so this is what we are, our head is full of these thoughts. And constantly, anytime, unless we are forced to engage ourselves in spiritual activities, and mostly through Shravanam, if at all, right? Because chanting also is a big effort. But maybe, if you are engrossed in Shravanam, then for some time, maybe we might be free of material consciousness, at least to a great extent. Now, this consciousness has to be maintained, as in the non-material consciousness, or actually what we call as Krishna consciousness, has to be maintained all the time. For us to maintain Krishna consciousness all the time, we have to be completely cleansed of material consciousness. Right? Now, this verse is answering, how can one be completely cleansed of material consciousness? By dint of rigid devotional service. Rigid actually has two meanings. So here, actually, Prabhupada has used this word rigid. Actually, it just says bhakti, bhakti utkalita. So Prabhupada is saying that one cannot cleanse material consciousness unless they engage in rigid devotional service. So if you look up dictionary for meaning of rigid, what does it say? Firm, inflexible, unbending, unyielding. Right? That is one rigid. Right? That means that it is following exactly what has been given to us. Inflexible, no creating unnecessary flexibility required. Second is fixed. Very fixed, firm. So both we need to do, right? So we need to follow whatever is been given to us in terms of rules. And more importantly, we should be fixed on that. Not that we follow sometime, then we don't follow some other time. And only if we follow devotional service like this, and only when we do that, we can get full control over life and sense. So Tivra Bhakti, basically again, just comes down to Tivra Bhakti, intense devotional service. And that is the only way to purify existence. Now, what about other methods like Dhyana Yoga, Stanga Yoga, this, that, and all that? They don't have as much power as Bhakti to purify an individual. So the only way to purify existence, very easy way, because see, yogis like Vishwamitra also, they did so much and then they failed. And so it's not very easy to control senses, right? But when one engages in bhakti, it is very easy to purify existence. I'm sure all of us would have experienced, right? We would have experienced different purification to different extent about different things which were difficult for us in the beginning of devotional service. And as we engage in devotional service more seriously, we possibly experienced how many things we've been purified from the influence of so many anarthas. And this is irreversible. Right? The only thing is, till bhava, there will be some traces of anarthas. It will be traces only. It will not impact bhakti unless, like we do, like what King Bharat did, Bharat Maharaj did, right? So unless we intentionally go behind some material thing, it will be there, but it will not trouble us, the anartha. But at the stage of prema, it will all get completely destroyed, irreverse, as in irrevocably destroyed, meaning it will not again appear. The anarthas will not again appear. And so the process of devotional service is so powerful that any person, irrespective of qualification, is like zero qualified, not worth anything. in this material world, right? From material perspective. But he or she simply engages very simply, following, bona fide acharya, then they will reach this stage of experiencing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So again, the key is rigid devotional service. So we have to keep introspecting in our whole lives, in our own lives, saying that how much are we really engaged in rigid devotional service? I mean, are we really serious about this rigid devotional service? Because if you really want rigid, if you really perform rigid devotional service, only then we can actually experience Supreme Lord. And we waste our time doing so many unnecessary things. Many times I've seen people who have money and they still work. It's not required. It's not required that we work. We have to work. Bhagavatam first canto only we discussed, right? A person has to work only to keep body and soul together. Only such a person will experience perfection. Will come to the stage of perfection. Not if we are simply wasting our time day in and day out doing worthless things. Sometimes it is required, right? For example, see, and when we speak such things, many people get put off, saying that, oh, what is the problem? I'm doing my work, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But what do we want really? Do we want Krishna? Do we want to experience transcendental form of Krishna? Or do you want to simply, yeah, it's good, bhakti is good, one leg here, one leg there. Then we can live however. And that is the reason why Shastra has given us Varnashrama. And today people reject this Varnashrama, saying all this old-fashioned talk. Don't talk about Varnashrama. But I've experienced in my own life the power of Varnashrama, right? And that Varnashrama actually has ever long-lasting impact. It helps, it hastens the process of purification. Right? Simply living to keep body and soul together, doing our duty, but more importantly, all our energies. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kuru nandana. We should have only one goal in life. My spiritual master is one in Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. So he gave a class in which he was saying. So he was asking, saying that what are the goals of your lives? And generally, so he put it in plural. What are the goals of your life? And then people started saying, this is my first goal, this is my second goal, this is my third goal. And like this, it was going on. And finally, Maharaj said, there cannot be multiple goals. There has to be only one goal. And that has to be Krishna. If that one goal is Krishna, then we will achieve. Then we have very, very high chances of achieving. But if we have so many goals and we say, eventually it is Krishna. Many people tell me, my ultimate goal is Krishna. Okay, ultimate goal is Krishna. What about other non-ultimate goals? What does that mean? What does ultimate mean? Meaning, after I've achieved all other goals, it is Krishna. What is the guarantee that we are going to achieve all these other goals, and how long it's going to take for us to achieve? And we've already done this. Puna puna charvita charvananam. We've already chewed. We already chewed this. We already tried this. Somebody wants to do bungee jumping. They already done that before. We fell from heaven so many times. It's more exciting than bungee jumping. Any bungee jumping. Bungee jumping, no other jivas will come and eat you up while you're falling. When you're falling from heaven, jivas eat you up. You can't get more excitement than this. Those crazy people who want to jump off some building and hill and all that. So we've done all this. There's really nothing. I mean, nothing left. There's nothing left. Literally nothing left. I mean, we have to really think about this, right? If there's anything in this material world which is exciting us, which is inspiring us, motivating us. Anybody here, you want to give any examples, then we can think how it's not really so exciting. Because this is very important that we actually be convinced that there's really nothing worth going behind in this material world except Krishna. And Krishna is all exciting. Krishna is all exciting. I mean, when we read how Acharya's description about Krishna, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's beauty, Krishna's in past times, and just wanting to experience Krishna, right? Our desire should be for one moment, I want to experience Krishna. It's possibly the biggest achievement one can go behind. And it's not possible just by our own effort also. So it's even difficult, right? Because it requires Krishnas to show mercy, to reveal himself to us. So maybe for 2-3 minutes, right? Let's just see in our own lives, what are those material things that are really driving us? Or is there really anything at all driving us? Or otherwise, why are we spending so much time behind material things? See, some people say, no, I don't have anything. I'm not really driven by anything in this material world. Still, I work for 12 hours. Still, I work for 14 hours. Still, I have only 2 hours for bhakti in a day. Still, I don't have time on weekends to attend program. Now, you have to factor in all this and now tell, right? So if you're doing something in the material world, there should be a reason, isn't it? So what is it that is really driving us in this material world? Is there anything apart from really achieving Krishna that is important for us? If not, why are we wasting our time? Any thoughts? I mean, is it like it's a provoking question, right? Because we need to think about this. When these kind of things come, I think, I mean, it's so difficult. Even if you are engaged 24 hours in devotional service, still completely cleansing material consciousness is so difficult. So then obviously the question that comes to mind is, if we don't have this as the only goal, then how much more time are we going to take? How many more lifetimes we might end up taking? So then the question comes back saying that then why are we so engaged, absorbed in this material world? What is keeping us absorbed? Is it Krishna? Is it directly Krishna? Is it indirectly Krishna? What is it?
Hare Krishna, bro. I'll take my example.
Yeah.
So is it that we are thinking too much on dovetailing some of the occupational duties and thinking that that will lead to better ways of preaching one day, or somehow connected to service of Guru by spreading the message? And sometimes we tend to think that we can somehow link these two. So while we work for a specific purpose, and parallelly also do preaching activities, but also finding out better avenues of how we can take it to a next level. I mean, this is my motivation for quite some time now. So just wanted to see if that is a right thought, or
So just if I understand what you're saying, so you're saying that you're thinking that by engaging in your work and whatever, investing time there today, it will possibly give you an avenue to preach at a level of impact more than what you would have otherwise.
Yeah.
That is what you're saying.
Yeah. It might be like it's, I mean, I'm not saying that the current way of preaching is not effective. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is,
one
like,
second. My internet current went. 1 second. Sorry. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, bro, we can hear you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we can hear you, bro. Can you
Am I
hear us?
audible?
Not sure if I am audible.
Hey, can others hear me? Hare Krishna.
Yes, bro. We
Yes,
can.
Prabhu. We can hear you.
Okay. I think electricity went. So you will have to repeat what you were saying last part, Prabhu.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that it might not be the case that the current way of preaching or the current way of devotional service is not effective. That is
Mhm.
effective. But just trying out something more to please Guru and Krishna,
Okay.
and at the same time dovetailing the current scope of work where we can have impact. At least that has been my thought.
And what does dovetailing mean in your thought? I mean,
dovetailing means like utilizing the qualities or utilizing the you can say skills of
mm,
impacting or influencing others to basically serve the purpose of teachings of Bhagavad Gita
okay.
to whatever audience it suits, right? That is one. And yeah, at the same time, finding out avenues to make it economically viable so that the regular duties of family life also go on well. That also has been the intention. So just wanted to check if this is the right thought, or is it also having a tinge of material economical development or something which is not needed.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't know if I'm really qualified to comment on this because see, the point is it's an internal mood, right? I cannot say that what you're wanting to do is wrong. So the only thing I would want to say is when, like today, for example, so Prabhupada taught us a certain way of preaching, right? And it's the direct and the most effective way of preaching. And we don't have to take, unless, we are developing some skills today, which is going to help us tomorrow. For example, say I'm learning Sanskrit, right? And I'm investing time in Sanskrit because I don't know Sanskrit. And if I know Sanskrit, say for whatever reason, I'm just giving an example, right? Say tomorrow I will be able to preach better. Or say, for example, I'm learning Hindi, for example, right? Because my Hindi is not good. And so if my Hindi becomes better, then I will preach. I can preach better in the future. Now, that is something that I can understand because it's direct, right? Because I want to preach in Hindi and my Hindi is not good or I don't know Hindi, right? So it's directly connected. So I will do this and then immediately I will start preaching. So if there is some skill gap or something that you need to fill in, right? Then possibly this kind of losing time proposition is okay in my view, right? Because the process is very, very straightforward. So for example, if suppose say you think that your strength is say writing, for example, right? Then you should just start writing. We don't have to wait for anything, right? And we don't have to wait, or we don't have to necessarily be in any position in this material world to be able to do that. Nobody cares, right? Really, I mean, today people who have no they're just sitting in in their own on their table somewhere and they're just writing stuff and people just are ready to consume, right? So it doesn't really matter. People are not going to ask, okay, what are you doing in your material life, so that like, can I take you seriously? No, it's what we write. If it makes sense, people will accept it. So is it really required is the question. Is it really required to remain entangled in other things, and to that extent that it's even like literally taking away time for us to do bhakti on a day-to-day basis, right? So that is something that each of us have to really, and of course, like you said, if you want to please Guru and Krishna, then the best way is to ask Guru, saying that what is the best way I can serve you, right? You please tell me, I'll follow it. And that's the safest way. And that's the safest way, right? Instead of we coming up with our own thoughts and this one. So yeah, I will not be able to comment, but I wanted all of us to just think about this, saying, am I wasting time? Am I losing time? Because what is the tomorrow that I'm gunning for, right? Am I going to be around? What state I'm going to be in? Who knows the future, right? I don't know the future. Why am I waiting for the future? Prabhupada said no future dated checks. Right? So we need to be thinking, okay, I'm here today, let me do it. What can I do? How can I serve? Right. So that has been at least my thought process. But like I said, I'm no standard or this one to comment or authority to comment on this. But the only thing I can say is it might be good to ratify with Guru to make sure that, we are not speculating. And like you said, maybe there are some underlying, I'll tell you one thing, which might help you think this through better. Right. So once I met Maharaj with one of my friends who also wanted to do this kind of slow process to full commitment to Krishna consciousness. So he said, I don't want to work in corporate, but I want to do something which is connected to Varnashrama. Then Maharaj said, what is it? Then he was saying, like something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but something connected to Varnashrama, but it was not a farm community. It was not like going and staying on the farm, right? It was staying in the city, but doing something elsewhere. And Maharaj directly said, why you want to do this? Why don't you directly go and stay in the farm? Then he said, no, Maharaj, my family is not ready, etc. I said, okay, then it's fine. Then you can do. But this is all just losing time, right? So we have to understand. We have to basically speak to our gurus and then understand, what we are doing. Is it the best? Because we are not intelligent enough to decide this. Guru has to tell, and our job is to simply abide by it. The only thing we have to really think about is, okay, materially I have to take care of my family. Yes, so I need to do whatever it takes. Right now, if I mean, we should be practical, right? Like, for example, some people have so much of loans on their heads. Right now, there's so much of loan. Obviously, you will have to work, right, to repay that loan. You can't sit at home. Now, if it means that I need to work in this job for so many hours a day because I have to earn so much money, okay, then we have to do it. What can we do? Because we've already taken the loan, we can't run away from it. Right. So those commitments are real, right? I mean, if we have not yet taken a loan commitment, then we can think whether do I need it or not. But if you've already, then there's no question. Then it's inevitable. Okay, till this loan gets over, then I need to work, for example. But really, I mean, we have to think about are these the right motivations? Okay, can I then say, okay, maybe I'm going to get over this loan. Now, once I get over this loan, am I ready to see, I'm not, my question is not really saying that should I work, should I not work, should I sit at home, should I go to the farm? I'm not asking any of that. I'm just saying that are we focused? Is our focus on achieving Krishna? Right? Or are we somewhere losing, our focus by really, I mean, we seem to be attracted to something else in this material world. And is that thing worth getting attracted? Is it right for us to do? And it's a self introspection question, right? But yeah, like if you voice it out, then it might possibly give you create that thought process for you so that you can start thinking about it. Yeah, Vamshi Prabhu, you are saying something?
Prabhu. No, going back to your question of what are your goals in life, right? So, with respect to the material, so I was just trying to think through on those lines. So, of course, the first priority, apart from Krishna is the ultimate goal.
Like
But
the ultimate goal. Yeah.
so, since we are here and we are already entangled with few other things also, which takes over is the uh, taking care of the family. At least that is one aspect, and beyond that, nothing else is what I would say. But of course, during the journey, we can also see how we can contribute, like what Prabhu was saying. So through our skills, where all still there is a personal agenda of ours, how we can still keep Krishna in mind and still do things which can work towards improving our devotional service or improving our commitment to uh, achieving or reaching Krishna. So that's how we can think is what I was thinking. But yeah, uh, happy to hear you. But of course, if you would have asked me 5 years before, there were many other goals, Prabhu. So the list has come down now.
Good, very good. That's progress. Okay. Others, anything you want to share? Basic idea, basic question is how can we keep Krishna on top of our mind, right? How can we not get distracted in this material world? I see many people are distracted with politics, distracted with so many things. So many things. I mean, we know there's a long list of things, right? Mm.
So if nobody is sharing, I wanted to share one more thing.
Yeah, please.
So you are right. Actually, there is definitely some inherent desire which is not related to bhakti as well. And I'm being very honest. For example, in my case, one of the things which I have experienced is nobody in my family did business, right? So all of the people were in service sector and nobody did business, right? And also my father used to say that we are Brahmana, so we should not work. We are actually doing a Shudra thing, right? Because even if you are an IT worker, you are having a blue collar job, you are sophisticated Shudra.
Yeah. Not sophisticated, Shudra only.
Yeah, Shudra only, right? So I always had this desire that I should do something of my own, for example, right?
Okay.
And for example, that is like, I mean, it can take various forms, like writing a book or let's say having a corporate mentor, right? So my thinking has been recently that this corporate people, they are actually not in mode of goodness. They are definitely in mode of passion or mode of ignorance. So I have to reach to their level. Like that doesn't mean that I have to degrade my level, but I have to go and bring them from that state to mode of goodness first. Then probably that will be a precursor to bhakti, right? That is also an intention. So I'm blending the corporate mentorship and then basically taking gradually them to bhakti by giving them Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. That's the intent, right? And right now it is a side activity. I mean, I'm not quitting my job and doing this, but let's say if God is merciful and I get mercy, and if this gets very successful, then I want to go full time into this, which means that it will be a very effective preaching platform as well. So this has been my thinking. But yeah, you're right when you said that when we are having this inherent assessment of our inner soul, that what is that desire? There is definitely a desire that I want to do something of my own because I don't want to be a Shudra. So that is also one thought. Now, how can we take this? Is it okay according to the thinking, or is it still in an indirect way of maybe? I mean, it might not be needed, and we can go direct into preaching and this thing. Just wanted to understand from that perspective.
No, again, I mean, like I said, my views are derived from what Prabhupada has said about this and possibly what Guru Maharaj has said about this. See, we don't have to reinvent new ways, right? And we don't have to unless yeah, like for example, right? See, if you're an author, right? I mean, you don't have to wait for tomorrow to become an author, right? You're an author, start writing. Why do we have to wait? Right. Of course, if you want to do business, then yeah, you have a desire. I mean, let's be very clear, right? You have a desire and it's fine. I mean, see, I'm not saying that something is right or something is wrong, right? Because all of us have our own journeys, right? But the question is really, am I moving really at the fast pace that I should move, or am I just simply losing time? That's the whole question that needs to be answered. We shouldn't be losing time. Like I said, inevitable financial responsibilities, nothing. I mean, we cannot say anything, right? We have to say, okay, yeah, it has to be taken care. Like I can't just escape, right? Like for example, I'll tell you, like my wife, right, Shraddha. So after initiation, she decided, she was hearing from Maharaj, and then she said, I'm not going to work. So I said, what happened? No, it's very clear. I think, I was just simply going through so much of, managing home. Neither am I doing good here, nor am I doing good there. and so much of time pressure, work pressure, and I have so many things I can do for Krishna directly, and I'm simply wasting time. And then we discussed, okay, we have so many loans, and we said it's okay, Krishna will take care. If you want to follow Maharaj's instructions, go ahead, right? And you give up your job, we'll figure out. Right. So it was not required to continue to lose time. And it was her realization. She came up saying that, no, I don't want to work and waste my time. I want to serve, other people in the house. I want to create a Krishna conscious atmosphere. And I have so many skills that Krishna has given. I have language skills. I want to use it in Krishna service, and I want a flair for teaching children. I want to teach children. I want to create content for children. So many things. And she's been doing it, right? And directly engaging in bhakti, right? Instead of waiting for something to happen tomorrow, right? And of course, for her, because it's Tridharma, so I was very happy saying that, don't worry, it's my job to figure out finances, and Krishna will guide us, because we are trying to follow Guru and Krishna. So it's okay. We'll depend on him. And it's not like we were whimsically came to the road because I was still working. Of course, our financial comfort obviously went down, right? It was almost, because she was also in a good job, so it was 1:2, right? Not 1.5 salary, right? It was 2 times the salary we were getting, and so it became half. But we said it's okay, that half itself is good enough. We don't have to really require that one, and we will figure out. Krishna will show us the way. So the point is that it just requires us to be clear in terms of our convictions, saying that one thing I believe my own life and experience is I don't want to plan for tomorrow. I have no idea whether I'm going to be around. This is a deep realization I have, right? And 10 years back, I had tuberculosis, and what came out of it and the things that I experienced, then I said, boss, no guarantee. Kuch bhi guarantee nahi hai. Like, I'm not going to plan for, forget about 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, nothing beyond. I'm just going to plan for today and tomorrow, right? Or maybe just today, right? Which means that as early as possible, trying to, align ourselves directly with Krishna. Why indirectly? Indirectly is not required. See, and be clear. You want to do business today. Why you want to waste time? Do it today. Okay, then you say, I don't have finances. Okay, then you've created a long problem statement for yourself, right? Then you have to earn the finances for starting that business. That means that you need to work. Maybe you need to work for 5 years, 10 years to get that finances. Then you have to get that finances. Then you have to do that business. Now, for how long are you going to try that business? Is it going to work, not work? So you're just locking yourself up for 15, 20 years. For what? Because I want to be a Brahmana. But in the process of being a Brahmana, we become more Shudra than we would otherwise have been. Right? And that is why Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, sabko goli maro. Brahmana hai, nahi hai, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just surrender yourself to me. So we don't have to lose time like this, right? How do we know whether we're going to be around for next 15, 20 years and in what state we are going to be? Are we going to be in a state to serve Krishna at that point of time? So future planning is not for devotees. And we should plan Krishna's projects, right? Like, okay, tomorrow, okay, Janmashtami, 1 month and down the line. So I'm preparing, I'm planning, okay, ye lena hai, you have to do curtains, you have to do this, you have to do that, we have to get, we have to go do Nagar Sankirtan, we have to do door to door, we have to do collection, yeah, because it's 1 month away and we'll plan and we'll execute, right? But we don't even think like 2 months down the line, okay, there's some program happening. What do we do? No, we'll figure it out later, right? We have so many things of the current that we want to think about. Why think about something 2 months down the line? No, forget about 2 months down the line. We are saying 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. Future is not in our hands. Future is in Krishna's hands. Either we have something today in our ability to which we can use and commit, create impact. For example, I keep telling every person has ability. Every person has a strong ability which he or she can use directly in Krishna service today. Right? But for some reason, Krishna is not the only goal in our life. That's where we are stuck. And that's what I want all of us to really, And this is what Prabhupada's books did. At least in my own life. And that's why I keep telling people, read Prabhupada's books. Read Prabhupada's books. We should not just pass by these statements saying that, oh, great devotees experience the transcendental form of Krishna. Why shouldn't I become a great devotee? I don't want to become a great devotee because somebody is going to call me great, but I want to come to that platform of that great devotee who can experience Krishna's transcendental form. And here clearly it is said that, okay, I have to do rigid devotional service. Now, how rigid is my devotional service? How relaxed is my devotional service? How rigid is my material life? How overloaded am I in my material life? Is this helping me to control my life and senses? Is it really purifying my existence? If not, then I'm going to just go through so much of difficulty getting there, isn't it?
Yes, true.
So my suggestion to everybody, right, is just be to the point, right? Don't cheat yourself. You want to do business, do it, right? Just do it. As in, the point I'm making is like, let's not camouflage it with anything else, right? And if you want to do service alongside, do it. I mean, I was working. It was not that I was not working, right? I was working. When I was working, I was doing 4 hours devotional service. I said, I don't care. I want to do 4 hours devotional service. I'm saying this to say that, it was not about future dated. I am not saying like 2 years hence, I'm going to do 4 years devotional service. So I'm going to prepare now. No, I want to do devotional service today. I also want to do my work because I have a commitment. I have a loan. I have to repay it. I have commitments. And yeah, why am I doing this job? Why not I go for some lower paying job? Because the problem is, because I have got education, and education means same amount of hours you work, right? You will get 10x the rewards, benefits, right? And I'm already there. No point in pulling myself down and going somewhere else. Okay, I know. Okay, so I'm earning so much. My loan is for the next 3 years, 5 years. Okay, I'll finish it and then wrap up, right? Or immediately I'll switch out. But that is not at the expense of my bhakti today. Please bear that in mind. It is not at the expense of bhakti today, right? And the bhakti has to be rigid, tivra, increasing even today. Because that is the only goal. Incidentally, I'm stuck up with some material things, right? Incidentally, meaning it just happened and then now I'm not able to immediately get out of it. That's fine. But what is my goal? It's not promotion. It's not increase in salary. It's not some position. It's not some business. It's none of these. It should be Krishna and not future Krishna. Today Krishna. Today Krishna means tomorrow also Krishna.
Yeah.
Right? And we should have faith in Krishna. Krishna has promised, I will take care of you. Why are you worried? So we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry. And this requires faith. It requires complete faith in Krishna. Krishna consciousness is all about faith in Krishna. Nobody can make a calculation, right? Saying that, okay, or a guarantee, somebody will not sign a bond saying that, or some agreement saying that, yeah, I will make sure that, you will be at this standard of life for the rest of your life. No. Krishna is saying yoga kshemam bhamyam. It might mean that the standard might even increase. It might mean that standard might decrease also. Because it's left to Krishna, what he thinks is ideal for us or appropriate for us. But we need to trust him. Otherwise, then what is the meaning of surrender? So the point I'm trying to make is that it's important for all of us to think, saying that, do I have more than one goal in life? Because one goal itself is hands full. I mean, more than what we can deal with. Full purification of existence in one life is more than what we can deal with. Now, in addition to that, and of course, like Vamshi Prabhu was saying, yes, we have family, we need to take care. But are we really taking care? And what does taking care really mean? In today's world, it's just having some bare minimum, some money to take care of the expenses. That's all, right? It doesn't require us to be more, stuck in that taking care of home or family business, right? So we have to really think, right? And we are not running away from anything. Let's be very clear, right? None of us here should get confused saying that, no, is this guy saying that, we have to run away from, give up whatever we are doing. And no, I'm just saying Krishna has to be our focus, only focus. That's the only point I'm making, right? And everybody will have their own reasons why they are stuck in whatever position they are in without having Krishna as the only purpose in life. And that is food for thought. We need to think saying that, is this right? What am I doing? Am I not losing time? What else can I do? Okay. Should I take these decisions myself? That is something that I will tell very clearly. Don't take your decisions yourself. Talk to Guru. If you're initiated, talk to Guru. Otherwise, it's better consult somebody before making up your mind. Right? Because you know how we work. We make up our mind, then we can't unmake up our mind. The process of making up our mind should be based on Guru Sadhu Shastra, and should not be based on speculation, and it should not be based on some ulterior motive, some swartha. Right? So better to consult, other learned devotees who understood, who lived life that way. There's so many qualified devotees out there, right? Or if you're initiated, directly go to Guru. Don't hesitate. Be ready to accept what Guru is saying. Guru is saying you're doing nonsense. Say, yes, Guru Maharaj, I'm okay. I understand I'm nonsense. I'll give this up. Otherwise, we are not surrendered. And we have to surrender. Otherwise, we're not going to get Krishna. So please think about this. I mean, my idea was not to, these are all very thought-provoking. I will not do these discussions in my Kannada classes, right, or my Hindi classes for at this point of time, because they're all more simple people, not, can't so much of philosophy and this one introspection. I just ask them to do bhakti and, keep. But you're all like preachers. You have to impact the world, right? So, yeah, because the world is talking in English today. The world is not talking in regional language, right? Unfortunately. But anyway, so point is, people who have studied, who have higher level of education, etc., they can understand these topics more, deeper topics, right? And it's also easy for them to get stuck in the wrong in trying to do something which is not really as effective, right? So kindly think about this, and it's just food for thought, right? Don't have to feel like I'm not pushing anybody in any direction, right? I'm just saying only one direction we should have. Krishna has to be the center of our life. Krishna has to be the only goal of our life. Everything else is incidental. It'll happen. We don't have to get too sucked into it. And that's the only way we can actually make progress. There's no other way. We should not think that we are more intelligent than people in the past. Otherwise, why Krishna would have said Ekeha Kurunandana? He would have said, because right then he says Bhahushaka Anantascha Buddhayo Vyavasayinam. Bhagavad Gita is saying Bhahushaka. If you have Bhahushaka, too many things, too many goals, too many things to look at, our intelligence will get split. We have no time, we have no focus on any one object. Right? So we should have only one focus. That is Krishna. Okay, I'll stop here. If anybody wants to say anything, you can.
Already it's clear. I think very relevant points made.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for saying all this, because I needed to hear all this. Actually, I'm in a situation where I'm always hoping that in future it would be better at some point, and then I'll be able to engage myself more in service. But as you said, we should not see into future. Things may get worse. So we should be like in our present, we should fix fully and focus on what we can do our best.
Yeah. I mean, future might not
But
get worse also, I mean, this is another thing actually. I know, I mean, I know where you come
yes.
from, right? And when we are going through a lot of negative things, difficulties in our life, we always think, yeah, maybe, it's going to be worse. No, Krishna is there with us. So Krishna is not going to make it worse for us. But Krishna is also saying that, even when things were worse, what did you do? Oh, you engage so much in my service. Okay, come on, I'll pull you out. You don't deserve to suffer more. So it's in Krishna's hands, right? So, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think waiting for tomorrow, I've realized, when I had that difficult situation, I thought I'm not going to be around for too many years. And I said, what am I waiting for? What am I waiting for? What is going to what is going to happen? Am I going to be around? Am I not going to be around? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, sincerely, and it was fear at that point of time. But then I realized saying, no, this was the real, I mean, this was great mercy that Krishna gave me, right? to pull me out of that illusion of that something is there in this material world that I need to achieve. And then many people ask me saying that, oh, bro, you could have become CEO. I said, I'm not interested. Who cares? I don't want to be a CEO. I don't want to sell myself to my job. I want some money to take care of my family, and that's it. Right. So it was a real eye opener. And I'm sharing these things because I don't want other people also to go through and experience, lose time, right? Going through difficulties in life to come to real right conclusions. Right. Because it's very, very clear. And then I realized, Prabhupada is exactly saying this. Why didn't I read what he's saying? I never read what he was saying at that point of time. Then I realized, no, I have to read Prabhupada's books deeply. Because today people talk so much, katha. Some people say, Prabhu, we can't digest your classes because, there's no katha. I said, I am speaking real life katha. If you want some other katha, I don't know. Right? Only after we hear real life katha will we actually be able to relish Krishna katha. Because we have to get out of this katha that we have stuck ourselves in. Right? So it's important to, important, these things.
And
Okay.
currently, Prabhuji, it's like it's being testing one after the other. Now you cannot convince children like they have brought a pet. Matlab, things are getting worse for my, in my situation. Like I'm having a great struggle for keeping
Mataji,
myself
one thing,
grounded.
I've told this before, right? Yesterday I was speaking to some devotee and I said, don't fight your situation. You are not powerful enough to fight your situation. If you are, then you would have been Krishna, right? Do you think anything is happening in your life without Krishna's sanction? Absolutely not. Because you are a surrendered devotee. Why is Krishna putting you through all this? Think about that. Think about what Krishna wants you to learn. And I'm realizing in my own life, saying that the moment we are able to get our hands on that, saying that, okay, this is what Krishna wants me to learn in these situations, that situation will stop. It will change. It will improve. Right. But it's very, very difficult for us to get our hands on to what exactly is that one thing that Krishna wants me to learn from this situation. And it's the same question I've been asking myself, saying that, okay, I've been struggling with so many health woes now for 10 years, 11 years. And I've been thinking, saying that, what else, Krishna, what else should I do? What else should I do? And then, when we are really like aimlessly like this, we don't know, right? We're groping in the dark and Krishna reveals, this is what it is. And he said, okay, got it, Krishna. Okay, now let me try this. Let me try. But I don't have the strength. You have to empower me. I'll try. I will try. I will definitely sincerely try. And I know that the moment I get over that, that situation will stop. Right. So let's not fight our situations, Ruchira Mataji. I mean, I know where you're coming from. I've been where you have been. I'm still there also where you are. Right. Just that the situations are different, but we should stop fighting. Stop fighting. Just accept it. Just be
Yes,
Krishna conscious. What can prevent you from becoming Krishna conscious? How can your children, how can the pet in the house, how can your husband, how can somebody else prevent you from being Krishna conscious? Nobody can prevent you from Krishna conscious. Being Krishna, because Krishna conscious is the inner state of self. It's an inner state of existence. It's not an outer state of existence. We cannot point our finger to some situation and say, this is pulling me down. Because Krishna consciousness is not outside. It's not outside. Okay, we are failing in the role as parents, but that's not in my hands. It's not in my hands. Right. And I mean, it's the same situation for me. For example, my daughter is not as Krishna conscious. I mean, and I shouldn't say as Krishna conscious. She's not Krishna conscious at all. While both of us, husband and wife, we are so committed. And what can I say? I just feel that I failed. But then I realize saying that, is it in my hands? It's not in my hands because she was born before I came into Krishna consciousness. How much ever we tried, I tried. But she's going in her own direction. But I know Krishna will bring her. Krishna will bring her. I have that faith. And I'm saying, okay, fine. Whatever she wants to do a career. My Guru Maharaj doesn't approve of it. But I said, what can I do? I can't force her. I can't lock her up, right? I have to, because she's born that way. She's grown up that way. And this is all because of we coming late into Krishna consciousness, etc. But what can I do? I can't get frustrated about it. I said, see, I tried Krishna. Now I've left this. I've left her at your lotus feet. Only you can change it. I cannot change. I don't have the power. I don't have the power to change myself. What will I change somebody else? So it's surrender. Actually, it's not frustration. It's not struggle. It's surrender. The more these things, just surrender, saying that, okay, Krishna, one more problem at your lotus feet. Krishna, one more problem at your lotus feet. I am free. I don't have any problems. All my problems I can see, oh, Krishna's lotus feet, it's there. Krishna's, all my problems are there at your lotus feet. You see what you want. It's up to you. I'm going to just depend on you and be happy chanting your name, hearing about your glories. And you think you want to put me in hell? I am ready for it. But I want to still remain a devotee. That's all I ask. Ashlishya va padaratham pinastu mam adarshanam marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidatatu lampato matprananatas tu seva naparha. Whatever situation you want to put me, Krishna, it's up to you. I'm happy to be in whatever situation you want me to put in. But you are the only shelter. You are the only, your lotus feet are the only shelter for me. I have nobody else to go. This is pure devotion.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It's very nice.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else wants to say anything? Otherwise, we can close. We're already in 9:12.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
From today, like you mentioned, I think the ultimatum is Krishna will change to only Krishna.
Yeah, very good.
That's
Very good.
my key takeaway.
Super. Very nice. Okay. Thank you so much for patiently hearing my blabbering. So we'll come to an end. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Think when Krishna wanted me to listen to all your talks, that's why coincidentally I logged in. Thank you so much. It's
Mataji, you're not very audible. I'm just barely able to hear you.
okay. I think I have a network issue here.
No, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. So I said maybe Krishna wanted me also to listen to all your conversations. So that's why
Thank you for joining. Yeah, Krishna pushes each of us in different directions. Many times we'll be stuck, in various things, and somehow Krishna knows, what is the best way of pulling us. So he'll do, and our job is to just follow what Krishna is saying. Then we will clear up things in our life and move towards him.
Yes, brother. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Jai Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Payate Parikana Pavane Vaishnavaya Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jagat Guru Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.